I'll give you an overview of Lumici and how we believe it can support you. Then we'll have a look at the software. I'll explain how to get your account, and they're all free accounts, and then if we have time we'll have some questions and answers at the end. But like I said, we will try our best to answer them as we're going through. Okay. So Lumici, I think you have a little bit of an idea about Lumici. It's basically lesson planning software and collaboration software. So it makes the whole burden of planning lessons and accessing lesson plans and your resources just much more straightforward. And it was actually developed by a teacher, and there he is on the screen, and his name is Atif Mahmood. And whilst he was teaching, he realised, probably like you guys, that, you know,
sorry to interrupt. Sorry,
yeah.
Just your screen isn't going to the next slide, so we can't see Atif. I can only see the welcome page.
Okay, I'll just close that, and then I will try again. Can you see it now?
I can see the website now.
Okay, good. Can you see the screen now, the PowerPoint?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, sorry. Okay, that's fine. So there he is on the screen. So he was a teacher, and whilst he was teaching, just probably like you guys, he just found planning lessons really cumbersome. And he also found that working with the teachers to plan lessons collaboratively, especially if they were in different schools or obviously had a different timetable, it was really difficult to find the time to get together with these guys. So this is where we think that it will really help you guys as relief teachers for class cover, that even if you're in a different school, a different part of the country, or even if some of you are in New Zealand, some of you are in Australia, you can actually help each other and work together. And we're going to create some class cover communities for you so that you can share your lessons. And the great thing about Lumici is, because it's online, you can access it from your mobile phone, your iPad, or whenever you walk into a classroom, and if there's ever, you know, not enough preparation done, or if you're on long-term cover in a school and you need to start planning your own lessons, then you've always got Lumici just basically at the end of your phone. So we've already received some accolation over here. Lumici's been going for a couple of years, and it was finalist for one of the biggest awards in education in the UK, and it's also been recognised by some investors as well. So it's building here. We're getting traction, but we want to obviously build that up and launch over in Australia and New Zealand as well. Okay, so basically, as I've just said, you can work together as a class cover community. So depending on which age group you teach or which subject you teach, you can work with similar teachers across the group, wherever you are, like I said, because it's all online. And it's really easy for you to upload the plans that you already have. You can upload your own resources. You can quickly add resources from the internet. You can use other people's lessons, so they might be class cover teachers, or they could be teachers from England or teachers from anywhere else. You can access their lessons and use those with your classes. So there's already some content in there, and obviously the more people that use Lumici and add content, the more content there will be. So at the moment there's some examination board content from the UK, from UK examination boards, but you can, it's really easy to find that content and then adapt that content to meet the needs of your particular classes. And that's the same with anyone else's content that's already on there. Okay, so because we're new, we're just encouraging people. We'd really like it if you could just give us some feedback, follow us on Twitter, join us on LinkedIn, you know, follow us on Facebook, and join in some conversations. And we're really interested in feedback as well. So if there's anything you think doesn't quite work for where you are, or there's some features that you'd like to see, then we'll really want to hear from you, and we'll, you know, do our best. We're a small company, so it's easy for us to adapt the software. We're still really flexible like that. So we'll have a look now. So what I'm going to do is show you some slides of the software, and then we'll go live into the software just in case the live demo doesn't work quite so well. So is everybody keeping up so far? Any questions? No? Okay, good. So here's the website. So the web address is just lumici.co.uk. And you can see here it's just nice and clean. And on the right hand side there is the login button. You can just log in. And if you log in as a teacher, so you'll have this screen on the left hand side, you log in as a teacher and we'll send you your logins after the webinar. So it's just your email address and your password that we will give to you. And the first thing that you see is the Lumici homepage, and this is called the canvas. So this is where all of your lessons are, the lessons that are working that are scheduled at the moment, but also your classes and any lessons that you've set up. So obviously these ones are just rough ones for the demo that I've set up. And the great thing about Lumici is that it saves as it's going. So if you create a lesson, you start working on it and something happens, a phone rings or something else, and then you go back, it will be saved, so you don't need to worry about that. So what we're going to do before we go into the live software is just have a look at the left-hand menu of the screen. So on the left-hand side, there are all of the icons that we need just to work through the software. So this is the home screen or canvas. And this is showing me all of the lessons again, and this is where I can allocate my lessons to students. So even though you have a free account, you will be able to add students. If you teach students that are old enough to access computers themselves and work through lessons themselves, then you can actually allocate Lumici to them. If your students are younger or they don't have access to IT within your lessons or outside of school, then you can just use Lumici to store your lesson plans and share them with each other. Okay, so just moving down the screen again. So this is my lesson area and where my lessons are stored, and this is where later I'll show you how we create the lessons. And the next one is analytics. So if you do allocate your lessons to some students, you can actually monitor their progress through the lesson, so you can see when they've started. So it might be a homework activity that you set up as a lesson. You can see if they've logged in and how they're progressing through the lessons. Within the lessons you can add activities, including quizzes, and just to test learning, and you can see how they're getting on with those as well. And then this area here, so the folder on the left hand side that's darker at the moment, we can see that these are other people's templates. So if any teachers have created their own lessons, they're called templates, and they end up in this area here. So the ones that are shared publicly are called Lumici templates. Your templates that you create are saved under My Templates, and team templates, so you could just share them within the class cover team, or class cover science team, or class cover certain age group team, and then we can all look at them. And the great thing is that we can adapt them, so you don't have to look at somebody else's lesson and think, oh, actually it's not quite right. You can just adapt it really easily. Okay, and then the final icon on the left hand side is the team icon. So we've got different teams, we can create our own teams, and you'll see when I log in that we've created a class cover team, and then we can add each other to the team, and that means that you can all access the templates, you can add your own, you can edit each other's, you can copy them and edit them, and different people, depending on their responsibilities, have different powers within there, but basically everybody can access the templates and use the template. Okay, so there's back to my lesson screen, and then next. So once I'm in this screen, on the right hand side there is a plus sign, and that's how I create my new lesson. So this is starting completely from scratch, and it's up to you how much information you want to add here. So you can just add the name and just really brief information just to help you, especially if you're not using it with your actual students or pupils. Just the minimum amount. And here's one that I created earlier. just with dragging and dropping text and images from the internet, but I'll show you how we do that live. And I can add collaborators, so I can share my lesson with somebody else who might not be in my school, could be somewhere else in the class cover team. And then I assign it to my students, that is, like I said earlier, if I will be doing that. Okay, so let's have a look at the software. So we're on the website, like I said, and we just click login on the top right-hand side. So I've logged in already, but let me just close that and I'll show you how that works. Slowly. There we go. So I'm a teacher. So it knows me already. So it's got my login details already in there. So there's my dashboard or canvas that I talked to you about. So it looks very similar to what we're looking at on the slides. If I go to my lessons on the left-hand side, you can see it says My Lessons. Then I can create a new lesson. So here's the plus sign that we talked about, that I've just clicked. There we are. And here we go. So I'm just typing in. I can go through the different areas. Okay. I can choose topics. So let's say it's algebra. So some of the topics are already in there. And then the learning outcomes, I can look for different ones and it will search for them. No, it hasn't on that one. It did before. But there's lots stored in there already. Let's see if it's up here. There we go. So we can compare, that's not how you spell fractions. Convert between improper fractions and mixed numbers. So there's lots of information already in the system based on what other people have entered into Lumici. And then we'll create the lesson. Just thinking about it over here. Does anybody have any questions so far? No, can't see any.
That's great. Yes, there was one question someone asked. So does that mean if you want to edit someone's lesson to make it yours, you're able to, or do you need to rewrite their lesson?
Oh no, you can just edit it and I'll show you how to do that. So basically you access their template, copy it into your own area and then it's completely your lesson. So you can use all of it, half of it, add to it, take away.
Awesome. And another question's just come through. Can you add a topic if it's not included in the list? Yeah, so once you start adding, yeah, you can just add anything, any topic. Awesome, thank you. Just on the list. Thank you. Okay, so it doesn't seem to want to create my lesson, so I'll go into the templates just to show you how you can use each other's templates. So if I click on team, then your team templates will be in here once you've got some, obviously. And I click on select team and you can see here there's a class cover teachers team. So that's just for demo purposes. Obviously we can break that down and have different levels, different subjects, like I said. So obviously we don't have any team templates at the moment. But this is where if you created a template and you said to one of your colleagues, probably if you used your Facebook group on class cover, you'd be able to say, oh, I've just created a great lesson in Lumici, it's on maths, whatever it is, and then other people can access it. But let's have a look at some that are already there. So I might think I can search for them here. And obviously the more people add lessons, the more there'll be. At the moment it's the key subjects of maths and science and English. If we have a look at this fractions one,
So I can have a look at the lesson and think, yeah, actually, that's kind of what I want to do. It might be, it might not be quite what I want to do. Just like the question, I can edit it. So I can add it to my templates, and I can also share it with a team. So if I know that somebody's struggling to find a lesson on a particular area from the class cover group, then I can share it with you guys, or I can just add it to my templates. So it says here, we can see the notice there, it says it's added. It doesn't make any noise, so you just have to wait for the sign. And then my templates, and here it is. So there's the template now, so it is in my templates, and I can edit the template here. So this is what should have happened when I created the lesson earlier. So I can move things around. So this is obviously there's a video here, there's some images, there's some text. But if I want to add my own text, I can just put it in here. And we can change the heading. So we can say there shouldn't be a space there. So you get the idea. And I can change it to red, I can make it bigger. So it's really easy. And the lessons are divided into phases. So this is parts of the lesson. So it's up to you how many parts of the lesson you want to have. You might just want to have one part. But you can have your introduction, your main section, your plenary, that kind of thing. And we just work through the lessons here, the phases rather here. And it automatically saves the lesson. So any changes that I've made automatically save. So if I want to insert, this is where it kind of comes into its own. If I want to insert an image, then I could search Google here. And we've got the images come straight up. And if I click on plus, it enters it straight into the canvas. If you have images, obviously on your own computer or the shared area at school, then you can just upload those as well. If you have an image that has a URL, so you can see that here, then you copy and paste the URL from somewhere else. You can get them from your Google Drive, from your iDrive, from Dropbox, and also, as we've shown, just straight searching into Google. And likewise with video. So you can do that with the video. You can just put in the URL from YouTube or wherever, and it will show you the video on the actual lesson. Okay. We can see that somebody else has done that already. So things that I can add as well. So on the left-hand side, we can see activity. If I click on activity, then I can add a quiz. So if I click on here, then it asks me to describe the quiz. And I can time it if I want to use it with students. Or, you know, you might want to put this on the whiteboard at the front of the classroom, and then you can have the students or the pupils just writing down the answers. Choose a difficulty, so the timing, create the quiz, and then add the questions. And what it will ask you to do is put the answers in, and you can click on the plus. It's really easy, saves it automatically, like I said. And then before you can add the next question, you just need to let the system know that this is the right answer. And you can add an explanation if there's a complicated quiz. And then once we're ready to add the next question, we can just click on add new question, and we can keep going through. If I think, actually, this is just a short quiz, I'm going to get rid of that question. Then it will ask me, do I want to delete that question? Yeah. And then we can go back to the canvas. So there's also different things you can do. You can share it from here as well. You can add comments. So you might want to add comments for each other. This worked really well with my particular age group, or this question was really difficult, or this took so long to do with them. Or you might want to say something like, somebody else might be able to find a better resource for this. You can share it with the team. You can make it public to everybody. So then it goes into the Lumici templates area, and then you can edit. We're editing it now, and then we can preview it. So let's have a preview of this lesson. So if I make this lesson, maximize this lesson here, then this is what it would look like to the class. And we can play that video. Or if you can have this just on your phone, just as a reminder, or it can go on the board at the front of the class. So there we go. So this is obviously a mess now because I've been throwing things in here. There's that guy again. And that's it. So that's obviously quite straightforward. It's up to you how complicated you make the lessons. Okay, any questions now?
Thank you, Claire. That's looking amazing. There have been some really good questions coming through. One of them was, is it just lessons and resources, or is there a section for assessment items too? So you just showed us the quiz section, which is really helpful. Is there any other assessment features within Lumici at all yet?
No, it's just quizzes at the moment. So, I mean, quizzes makes it sound not very serious, doesn't it? But it depends, you can obviously put a higher level of assessment questions in the quiz. But no, nothing strictly assessment.
No, that's fine. Quizzes definitely gives us some assessment anyway. Thank you. Another teacher would like to clarify, are there any copyright or ownership issues with the lessons that are added and modified?
No, so any lessons that are made public that you can access through the Lumici template area, they're just open for you to use and edit. But obviously, if you think that if you don't want to share your lessons publicly, you don't have to. You can just keep them to yourselves or just keep them within your group. It's completely optional whether or not you share them publicly.
Perfect, thank you. And there have been a few questions about what level do they go up to? Is the program, is Lumici just for primary students, just for secondary students? What does it cover?
Well, it's completely flexible. So when you have your account, you develop your account in line with the children that you teach. So if you teach primary, then obviously you develop your lessons in line with their level, right up to, well, it's used in universities as well over here. So it's really any level. The content is down to you, and obviously any content that's on there you can use as well and adapt to the level that you teach.
Awesome, thank you. And there was another question, are the learning outcomes British only?
No, because you add your own. So there's things already in there that are already listed, the outcomes, but you can add your own and ignore any that are already in there. So it's completely flexible.
Great, awesome, and just one more's come through as well. These are fantastic questions, everybody, please keep them coming. Is there an option for providing or obtaining printable worksheets?
The worksheets that you create, potentially, I think you would probably create them outside of Lumici and upload them as a file rather than create them in Lumici. So there would be a Word file, say, that you would upload just to show on the screen in the lesson, but you would have that printed out already. This isn't, it's not, I mean, you could have worksheets that are on the screen created in Lumici, but then the children would need to write down, the answers, I guess. It's not really a worksheet development tool, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, thank you. Can lessons created on Lumici only be able to be used in the program, or are they able to be saved and used independently also? So I think that can you download the lesson outside of the Lumici software?
Not as it looks like here in the Lumici software. I mean, you could print, I guess you could print screen and print things out, but it's not, they don't download as such into a separate piece of software.
No, that's fine. That's great. It's an area for all your planning to be stored anyway. So just like you store them on your computer, Lumici saves them all for you. They're easily accessible. You can adapt them, change them, save them, make copies, just like you would any other program. So it's super simple to use and very user-friendly, as I'm sure you can all see.
Yeah.
Now
just going back to the assessment question.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. So you can see analytics. I mean, obviously, I'm not connected with any students at the moment, but I can have a look at the progress of my classes through the different lessons. As long as the students have logins, obviously, they need to have their own accounts, which you can add. You can import through a CSV, so through Excel, or just add students in here individually. So the account that you're seeing now is exactly what you, well, not exactly what yours will, you'll have all of the functionality, it just won't be as messy as mine. It will just be a clean account, but you'll have access to all of the tools that I have.
Awesome. And
okay.
Will the Lumici software work in conjunction with an interactive whiteboard?
Yeah, of course, yeah, it will do. So that's basically one of the reasons it was developed, just to be able to easily create lessons, collaborate on lessons, share lessons, but also obviously teach as well through the software.
Perfect. Thank you so much. The thing I love most about Lumici is you can use it in two ways. You can use it to plan your lessons, and you can also use it to set tasks for your class whereby they work through the lessons independently. So if you're on day-to-day relief teaching, then you can obviously use it to plan lessons to use in classrooms. If you're on long-term placements, you're in a school for a long period of time, you may be able to start to set your students' tasks through Lumici so that they can work through the lessons themselves. Definitely an exciting product. There's just another question come through about student accounts. How do we get student accounts? If you could just explain that one more time. The speakers were cutting in and out.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm back in Lumici here. So on the left-hand side, we've got the home screen. This arrow at the top, if you press that, it gets rid of the menu. It doesn't take you back, so it's probably not worth pressing. But underneath the home screen button, we've got the school button. And here, I can add my students either individually or I can use a CSV file. So if you've got your class list in Excel, convert it into a CSV, and then you can just upload it into Lumici. And you'll be asked to give the class a name. And then when you create your lessons, you need to allocate those lessons to that class, and they'll be able to access it through their logins, which is basically what you're creating here. So you're creating their username, which will be their email address, and their password. And you can also do it through CSV. Okay?
Great, thank you so much.
Any more questions?
No, sorry, that's the last one so far. If anyone does have any more, please do send them through.
Great stuff. So just yeah, if you've got any questions about Lumici or any feedback, then please do just email us, support@lumici.co.uk. So positive and negative, any ideas, like I said, we're keen to hear from you. Please do join in, following us and chatting about us online as well. And also with your Facebook groups that you have with each other, just to try and get some coordination about who's, creating lessons and sharing lessons. So that's basically what I've just said. Jamie will be sending you a survey just asking you what you think about the software and the webinar. So please do fill that in, and that's really useful for us as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Claire. There's just one more question that's come through. Does it cost for students to get an account?
No, it doesn't. So basically, you'll be given a free account, and the student accounts are free as well.
Yes. And can we just talk a little bit about that? What are our next steps for all of us that are in the webinar today. How do we get our accounts? How do we get started? I can see there's some comments coming through. Everyone's very excited to get started.
Oh, good. Yeah, we'll email you. So we have all your email addresses. We'll email you your logins, which will just be your email address and a password. So it's straightforward.
Awesome. And that might take a couple of days, mightn't it?
Yeah, just once we know who was on the webinar, and we can create the account for you. Yeah.
Awesome. So you will get an email, as Claire said, shortly after the webinar asking you to provide feedback, and then within the next couple of days you will be emailed your very own personal login so that you can get started with your own Lumici account. Lumici has been very, very kind to us in giving you all a free account for 1 whole year. So thank you so much, Claire, and your team at Lumici. Usually it costs teachers about $168. I'm pretty sure that's the conversion from the UK cost. $168 for 1 year, so you're getting that for free. And
yeah, so I mean, obviously the idea behind this is that we just really want people to use it. The more people that use it, you can see, the more content will develop, the better it will be for everybody. So please do use it, trial it, put kids on there, put your content on there, send us feedback, tell other people, share it with colleagues in school, you know, tell your heads of department, your heads of year, that kind of thing. We just want to get the message out there, really, because we know it can really help people and really save you guys a lot of time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Just one more question. I had a look on Pinterest and cannot find any pins. Do you know if you're on Pinterest at all, Claire?
I don't think we are, actually.
No,
I can see that, though.
That's fine. That's something else. Great feedback, everybody. Something else for Lumici to think about. And we've got some great comments coming through. Claire and the team are awesome. Thank you. Can't wait to get started, says Jenny. And Megan's keen to mess around with the software, and become familiar with it. Thank you very much. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Great, guys.
Awesome. So we will hang around for another 5 or 10 minutes if anyone wants to ask any more questions. But if not, thank you so much for joining us for the webinar this evening. We really appreciate you joining us. And of course, a huge, huge, huge thank you to Claire for joining us here at the Relief Teacher Association all the way from the UK and sharing Lumici with us.
That's okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for your questions.
No worries. All right. Thank you and see you all later. As I said, we'll be here for another couple of minutes answering any questions. Thanks, Verity. Oh, really good question. If we don't remember what each icon does, will it have reminders to help us?
Oh yeah, so if you hover your mouse over the icons, I did earlier, there you go, set up students, my lessons, and analytics. There's 2 that aren't used at the moment, but they are coming in. So one of them is a bit more tracking for the students themselves, but also messaging within the software. So they won't have anything written there, but this one, they will tell you what they do. Okay?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. They sound like exciting features as well. Look forward to seeing those. Will this webinar be available to look back on it? Or absolutely, we have recorded it tonight and you will be sent it out probably with your login details so that you can check back on it.
And there's also help on the website. So there's a big list of questions and answers on the website as well. But hopefully you can see it's quite straightforward and easy to use and remember how to use if you haven't logged in for a while.
Awesome. Can we be logged onto more than one device? That's a great question, Belinda.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Awesome. And then there's some very excited teachers that are keen to get started. Thanks, Leanne. Thanks, Denise. Thanks for joining us. Denise just went to the website for a look, and a chat screen for help comes up, which she is very happy about. So super user-friendly.
Oh,
if you need any help, they do have a chat box or a chat screen on their website. Thanks, Denise. That's helpful.